So Gaffer, after defeat against Carlisle at the weekend, you're looking to end the season on a high at Salford.
Yeah, of course, from our point of view, and certainly mine personally, I was, really, really disappointed with obviously losing the game first and foremost, a game that I felt, again, was there for the taking, as other games have been, certainly during my time as manager of the football club. And we just never really kicked on and took the opportunities that were there for us. Of course, from our point of view, again, losing 3 on the bounce is not something that is obviously going down too well around here. We're really, really determined to make sure that we can try and finish on the highest possible note going to end the season. And certainly that's the aim for Salford.
It's come around quick and it is the last game of the season. You've been both a player and a manager this year. Looking back at the season, how would you assess it?
I think, listen, overall, again, we haven't achieved our objective. I feel certainly the playoffs was realistic. But again, why we want to finish as high as we can is we want to improve as a football club. And while we may not have achieved our number one objective, we can still make an improvement as a football club in terms of the position we finish. And that's certainly something we'll be aiming to do. And then for next year, it's about really kicking on and getting the club where we need it to get to.
Whilst obviously the playoffs are out of our reach now, Salford still have a chance of nabbing that last spot on the final day. So it's about us going there and stopping them doing that. Yeah,
and listen, I think that's good for us. I've got to be honest. I think we wanted a game that was a live game. It's can be difficult at this stage of the season where you haven't met your own aims and maybe that little edge isn't quite there as much as we're trying to drive that it's important to finish as strongly as we can. You really can only get that in games that have got that real edge. I think particularly without the fans as well, there have been times that, the lads have struggled. It's been tough at times to not have that extra little bit of motivation in games. But certainly for us, going to Salford with them needing to win, it should have a real edge to the game. And I think that should help bring the best out of us.
You've had a lot of seasons in football, obviously, as a player. Is this the strangest one?
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah. It's been a difficult one, I think. Again, first of all, getting started and getting used to all the new rules, regulations, of course, not having fans again, which I cannot underestimate, how much of an impact that has had. They bring such a energy. We saw when we had them at home for the game that we were allowed to have them for what, for me, was one of our best performances of the season. And that was a big factor in it, having that support there. So, listen, we've all had the same set of circumstances. We've all had the same issues, whether it be us with COVID, other clubs have had to deal with it. And I've got to say, on the whole, I think football in general has made a real good fist of trying to get through what has been a difficult situation. And certainly everyone at this football club, can be proud of how we've faced the challenges that we've had to and given it our best shot.
In terms of selection for this weekend, we know Hector missed out last time round with concussion in the Southend game. We also saw Jamie Turley come off at half-time. A bit of an update on those two and potentially anyone else?
Yeah, Hector we should be fine with. Obviously, we just had to be, careful with him and take a few precautions, certainly, for the Carlisle game. But I'm sure he'll be fine. Tulls is a bit of a wait-and-see one, got a bit of a knock, obviously had to come off. So we'll assess him as the week goes on. Other than that, we've got, pretty full bill of health to come. Obviously, Tomo being the real long-term one, but he's making progress and obviously should be back in time for pre-season and get a good bit of time under his belt.
Just finding Adam Thompson a bit of good news that yesterday, over to you.
Yeah, no, he's celebrating the birth of his baby. Obviously, everyone at the football club delighted for him. Certainly from someone like myself, obviously, who's been fortunate enough to have kids, it's the best thing in the world, really. And I think for him at this period where he is coming back from a long-term injury, it will be a real good thing in his life, something to focus on as well as the hard work, because it is tough when you're coming in by yourself a lot of the time and having to do those sessions. So I'm sure having that extra bit of motivation and a little distraction at times, which babies, certainly newborns, can be, we'll be pretty glad that he's getting this first 6 weeks out of the way, away from the football club. It's a really difficult time, certainly for us professionally, because you have a lot of focus and energy on that, and that's rightfully so. So again, for him, I think it'll be a great thing, and certainly from us as a football club, we really look forward to welcoming the whole family, back next season.